Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Renuka with the evening news. The headlines. President Ramnath Kovind expresses happiness at rising number of women in armed forces, inaugurates Platinum Jubilee celebration of Rashtriya Military School in Bengaluru. Raksha Mantri Shri Rajnath Singh says India will give befitting reply to anyone who casts evil eye on the country, calls to break silos of civil administration and armed forces to deal with hybrid threats. Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnav launches startups for railways in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to pay one-day visit to Maharashtra tomorrow. Ministry of Information and Broadcasting advises media to refrain from advertising online betting platforms. Retail inflation based on Consumer Price Index eases to 7.04% in May from 7.79% in April this year. India Meteorological Department predicts heat wave conditions to continue in Punjab, Haryana, Delhi and southeast Uttar Pradesh for next 2 days. Khelo India Youth Games conclude at Panchkula in Haryana and Haryana regains leading position in medals tally followed by Maharashtra and Karnataka. In cricket, third 2020 international between India and South Africa to be played in Visakhapatnam tomorrow. President Ramnath Kovind has said that as the Supreme Commander, he was happy to see the rising number of women in the armed forces, including in combat roles. Inaugurating the Platinum Jubilee celebration of Rashtriya Military School that was set up in 1946 in Bengaluru, he expressed confidence that the girl cadets joining this prestigious school would contribute in defending the nation and play their role in nation building.
Our daughters are breaking many glass ceilings and setting new records in various fields, making the country proud. When I travel to different universities and institutes across the country, I witness many instances of girls outshining boys. As the Supreme Commander, I am happy to see the rising number of women in the armed forces, including the combat roles. I am happy to note that recently Captain Abhilasha Barak became the first women officer to join the Army Aviation Corps as a combat aviator.
The President was happy to note that from this academic year onwards, girl cadets are going to get admission into Rashtriya military schools across the country. He said our daughters are breaking many glass ceilings and setting new records in various fields, making the country proud. Speaking on the occasion, the President congratulated all cadets, teachers, alumni and staff members on the Platinum Jubilee of Rashtriya Military School, Bengaluru. He said since its establishment, the school has come a long way and is acknowledged as one of the finest boarding schools in the country. The President noted that at present, cadets from 23 states are receiving education in this school.
Rashtriya military schools were conceived with the aim of providing quality education to the wards of army personnel. But later, the schools were opened to civilians. I am happy to note that Rashtriya military schools are truly national in character. I am told that at present, cadets from 23 states are receiving education in this school. From Jammu and Kashmir to Kerala, the cadets here represent our unity in diversity. I am sure that this intermingling has helped the cadets to learn and appreciate the culture, language and traditions of their fellow cadets.
The President recalled the contribution of Field Marshal K.M. Cariappa and General Thimaiya, who hail from Karnataka. The President mentioned the distinguished alumni of the school. Captain Gurbachan Singh Salaria, an alumnus, was posthumously presented Paramveer Chakra for his supreme sacrifice during a UN operation in Congo. He recognized the presence of Vice Chief of Naval Staff S.N. Ghormade and Lieutenant General C.P. Cariappa in the gathering. During the inaugural, the Governor of Karnataka, Thawarchand Gehlot, Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai and others were present. Raksha Mantri Shri Rajnath Singh has called for greater jointness of civil administration and armed forces to further strengthen national security and deal with future challenges that may emanate from the ever-evolving global situation. Addressing the participants of the 28th Joint Civil Military Training Program at Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration in Mussoorie, Raksha Mantri pointed out that the concept of national security has broadened as many non-military dimensions have been added to the more general aspect of protection from military attacks. Shri Rajnath Singh was of the view that unless the silos of the civil administration and armed forces are broken to deal with hybrid threats, the nation cannot expect adequate preparedness to respond to future challenges.
हमारे देश ने अपने सिविल एंड मिलिट्री गवर्नेंस आर्किटेक्चर के रिफॉर्म की जो यात्रा शुरू की है, उसमें इस तरह के ज्वाइंट प्रोग्राम्स निश्चित ही अपनी बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभा रहे हैं और ये प्रोग्राम भी नेशनल सिक्योरिटी के डोमेन में जरूरी कोऑर्डिनेशन और कोलैबोरेशन की समझ विकसित करने में सिविल सर्वेंट और आर्म्ड फोर्सेज ऑफिसर्स के लिए निश्चित रूप से मददगार साबित होगा, ऐसा मेरा विश्वास है.
The President asserted that India is a peace-loving nation which does not want war. It has never attacked any country nor has it captured an inch of anyone's land. He added, however, if anyone casts an evil eye on India, it will give a befitting reply, said Mr. Singh. Shri Rajnath Singh described the Russia-Ukraine situation and other similar conflicts as proof that the world is witnessing challenges far beyond conventional warfare. He said even during peace, war continues on many fronts. Raksha Mantri clarified that full-scale wars have been replaced by proxies and non-combat wars. He said technology, supply line, information, energy, trade system, finance system, etc. are being weaponized, which can be used as a weapon against us in the coming times. He asked people's cooperation to deal with this widened scope of security challenges. Raksha Mantri added that the steps taken to modernize the armed forces and make the defence sector Atmanirbhar have started to yield results. Now, India is not only manufacturing equipment for its armed forces, but is meeting the needs of friendly countries as well, in line with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Make in India, Make for the World. Our correspondent reports that 47 officers of various services across the country are participating in the 10-day Joint Civil Military Trainee Program in Mussoorie.
Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari has informed that the project for the construction of new link National Highway 133B and 131A is in full swing. In a series of tweets today, Mr. Gadkari said the National Highway 133B project, spanning over 21 km, is a one-of-its-kind project involving the construction of a 6-km-long Ganga bridge. He said it is the world's third longest extra-dosed bridge. Mr. Gadkari also informed that the project for 6-laning of National Highway 140 from Chittoor to Malavaram in Andhra Pradesh will be completed by 30th of September this year. He said the ministry is working in mission mode to complete this project, which is being constructed under the Bharatmala Pariyojana. Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw has launched Startups for Railways in New Delhi today. This startups policy aims to leverage innovative technologies developed by Indian startups, MSMEs, innovators and entrepreneurs to improve operational efficiency and safety of the Indian Railways. The policy, which is part of the Indian Railways Innovation Program, will bring scale and efficiency in the field of operation, maintenance and infrastructure creation through participation of very large and untapped startup ecosystem. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Vaishnaw said, through this platform, startups will get a good opportunity to connect with the railways. He said, out of over 100 problem statements received from different divisions, field offices or zones of the railways, 11 problem statements like rail fracture and headway reduction have been taken up for phase 1 of this program. The minister said these will be presented before the startups to find innovative solutions.
जो प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट्स लिए गए वो 100 से ज्यादा क्वेश्चंस आए थे रेलवे के विभिन्न डिपार्टमेंट से, फील्ड ऑफिसेज से, रेलवे से जुड़े हुए जितने भी लोग हैं उन सब से. उसमें से पहले चरण में 11 प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट्स को लिया गया और बहुत ही वाजिब, बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट्स, जैसे रेल फ्रैक्चर. रेल फ्रैक्चर एक ऐसा महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दा है कि अगर आप उसका कोई इनोवेटिव सोल्यूशन निकाल पाए तो मेरे ख्याल से ये कई सारे इंसिडेंट्स को रोक सकता है. हेडवे रिडक्शन, 2 ट्रेन के बीच में अगर गैप कम करके चला ले, कैपेसिटी कितनी बढ़ सकती है. इस तरह के बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स हैं जिसको स्टार्टअप्स के सामने रखा जाएगा.
The Information and Broadcasting Ministry has issued an advisory to media to refrain from advertising online betting platforms. The advisory comes in the light of instances of a number of advertisements of online betting websites and platforms appearing in print, electronic, social and online media. It said betting and gambling are illegal in most parts of the country and pose significant financial and socio-economic risk for the consumers, especially youth and children. The advisory further added that these advertisements on online betting have the effect of promoting this largely prohibited activity. It stated that the advertisements of online betting are misleading and do not appear to be in strict conformity with the Consumer Protection Act, Advertising Code and advertisement norms under the norms of journalistic conduct laid down by the Press Council of India. On the 4th of December 2020, the Ministry had issued an advisory to private satellite TV channels to adhere to the Advertising Standards Council of India guidelines on advertisements of online gaming, which contain specific do's and don'ts for print and audiovisual advertisements of online gaming. The Centre has directed e-commerce food business operators to submit a proposal on improving consumer grievance redressal mechanism within 15 days. The Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution Ministry has asked e-commerce food business operators to transparently show the breakup of all charges included in the order amount, such as delivery charges, packaging charges, taxes and surge pricing. These operators have also been advised to allow consumers the choice to share their contact information with restaurants. The Ministry said several grievances have been registered on National Consumer Helpline 1915 for Swiggy and Zomato during the last 12 months. Most of the grievances are related to deficiency in services and delivery of defective products.
Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh has informed that Jammu and Kashmir has topped among all the Union territories in e-governance services delivery. He said this has also enabled Jammu and Kashmir to save around 200 crore rupees annually incurred while carrying physical files during the annual Darbar move between the two capital cities of the Union territory. Speaking after releasing the second edition of the National E-Governance Service Delivery Assessment Report 2021, prepared by the Department of Administrative Reforms in a workshop in New Delhi today, the Minister apprised that 28 ministries and departments have already adopted e-Office version 7.0 along with digitization of the central registration units, which has enabled creation of paperless secretariats where receipts, files and correspondence move online. The National Human Rights Commission NHRC has issued notice to the Haryana government over reported inaction to address issue of untreated hazardous waste contaminating groundwater nearby Bandwari landfill site in Gurugram. The Commission has also asked the Union Environment, Forest and Climate Change Ministry to submit a report within 6 weeks.
Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare Dr. Bharti Praveen Pawar launched the Intensified Diarrhea Control Fortnight IDCF 2022 in New Delhi today with an aim to attain zero child deaths due to childhood diarrhea. Speaking on the occasion, the Minister said multi-sectoral participation at various governance levels like mass awareness generation, rallies and competitions in schools will be beneficial in achieving this target. She said according to the latest report of SRS 2019, child mortality rate in the country has come down considerably since 2014. The Minister said this feat has been achieved by the constant efforts of the government led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the health sector. Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare Dr. Mansukh Mandavia has said COVID is not over yet. There are reports of rising cases of COVID in some states. Dr. Mandavia stressed that it is important at this time to be alert and not forget COVID-appropriate behavior, such as wearing masks and maintaining physical distance to prevent the spread of the infection. Dr. Mandavia said this today while he chaired a meeting through video conference with health ministers and senior officials of states and union territories to review the progress of vaccination exercise Har Ghar Dastak 2.0 campaign. Dr. Mandavia highlighted the increased case positivity in some districts and states and reduced COVID-19 testing. He stated that increased and timely testing will enable early identification of COVID cases and help to curb the spread of the infection among the community. He urged states and union territories to continue and strengthen the surveillance and focus on genome sequencing for identifying new mutants or variants in the country. The Health Minister stated that the five-fold strategy of test, track, treat, vaccination and adherence to COVID-appropriate behavior needs to be continued and monitored by the authorities across the country. States were also urged to focus on surveillance of incoming international travellers and surveillance through health facilities, labs and community. The minister also strongly advised to ensure that there was no wastage of COVID-19 vaccines at any cost.
Over 195 crore 19 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered so far under a nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said over 11,77,000 doses were administered yesterday. The recovery rate is currently at 98.68%. China's capital Beijing has again witnessing a new wave of COVID cases only few days after it announced a cautious reopening of public venues and has again started mass testing for next 3 days starting Monday, as a commercial hub Shanghai conducted mass testing to contain a spike in cases tied to a hair salon. COVID curbs have returned at many places, throwing 22 million residents of Beijing back into a state of anxiety. Many neighborhoods in the capital have been put under lockdown, with residents told to stay home. Most entertainment venues and pubs in Beijing were again shut, and school reopening orders have been reversed. In our bilingual live phone-in program, Corona Jagrukta series, Dr. B.K. Paul, Member Health, Niti Aayog and Chairman of National Expert Group on Vaccine Administration for COVID-19 will be with us today, that is 13th of June, to answer queries related to coronavirus. Listeners can ask questions to the expert from 9:30 p.m. on telephone number 011-2342-1230 and 011-2342-1764. You can also post your queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This live program can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. The program will also be available on our website newsonair.nic.in and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official.
In Manipur, a senior cadre of proscribed insurgent group People's Liberation Army surrendered to the state government. Chief Minister N. Biren Singh welcomed him in the mainstream society during a function held this morning at Imphal. The Chief Secretary and DGP of Manipur, along with various top civil and police officials, attended the function.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. President Ramnath Kovind expresses happiness at rising number of women in armed forces, inaugurates Platinum Jubilee celebration of Rashtriya Military School in Bengaluru. Raksha Mantri Shri Rajnath Singh says India will give the fitting reply to anyone who casts evil eye on the country. Calls to break silos of civil administration and armed forces to deal with hybrid threats. Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw launches startups for railways in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to pay one-day visit to Maharashtra tomorrow. Ministry of Information and Broadcasting advises media to refrain from advertising online betting platforms. Retail inflation based on consumer price index eases to 7.04% in May from 7.79% in April this year. India Meteorological Department predicts heat wave conditions to continue in Punjab, Haryana, Delhi and southeast Uttar Pradesh for next 2 days. Khelo India Youth Games conclude at Panchkula in Haryana. Haryana regains leading position in medals tally, followed by Maharashtra and Karnataka. In cricket, third 2020 international between India and South Africa to be played in Visakhapatnam tomorrow. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग। आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता। बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर। 8700014242।
क्या आप कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स की तैयारी कर रहे हैं? आपके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो लाया है प्रोग्राम अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जहां आप सवाल भेजते हैं व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करते हैं abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर। आपके सवालों के जवाब हमारे एक्सपर्ट देते हैं हर शनिवार रात 9:30 बजे। इस बार का विषय है इंडियन सोसाइटी, भारतीय समाज, और सवाल भेजने की अंतिम तारीख है 15 जून। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back to the evening news. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has said that the Pradhan Mantri Sangrahalaya instills pride for the nation in every citizen by offering an immersive experience of the country's successful democratic journey and its socio-economic transformation since independence. Mr. Naidu, along with his wife Usha Naidu, today visited the Pradhan Mantri Sangrahalaya in New Delhi. He spent 90 minutes there, keenly watching various components of the audiovisual presentations on India's journey to the present. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will pay a one-day visit to Maharashtra tomorrow. He will inaugurate Jagat Guru Sri Sant Tukaram Maharaj Shila Mandir at Dehu near Pune at around 1:45 p.m. The stone temple is constructed from a special type of black stone obtained from Rajasthan, and a statue of Saint Tukaram Maharaj, about 2.5 feet high, has also been placed in front of the stone. Devotees believe that Tukaram Maharaj used to perform kirtan while sitting on this rock. This area is also known as Deol Wada.
In Jammu and Kashmir, Minister of State for Food Processing Industries and Jal Shakti Prahlad Singh Patel today said, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 8 years of government are unparalleled with the historical achievements in the form of the abrogation of Article 370, implementation of GST, abolition of triple talaq, recognition of yoga at international level, etc. Addressing a press briefing in Udhampur in connection with the central government's public outreach program in J&K, the union minister said that the government provided free food grains to over 80 crore people during COVID-19 lockdown period under PM Garib Kalyan Yojana. The biggest achievement of the government was the invention of Made in India COVID-19 vaccine, he added. China has restarted the visa application process for Indian nationals after a hiatus of more than 18 months, as it had effectively banned visa for Indians and flights to and from India since November 2020. The Chinese embassy in New Delhi has issued a notice on its website today saying that foreign nationals and their accompanying family members going to China for resumption of work and production in all fields may apply for visas. However, it does not state whether Indian students waiting to return to their colleges in China can apply. The notice also said visa applications are temporarily suspended for tourism and other private purposes. After External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar's personal intervention with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi during his India visit in March and China visit in April, had finally agreed to permit return of some Indian students.
The 38th India-Indonesia Coordinated Patrol between the Indian Navy units of Andaman and Nicobar Command ANC and Indonesian Navy is being conducted from today till the 24th of this month in the Andaman Sea and Straits of Malacca. This is the first post-pandemic coordinated patrol between the two countries, including a visit by the Indonesian Navy units to ANC at Port Blair from today to the 15th of this month, followed by a sea phase in the Andaman Sea and a visit by Indian Navy units to Sabang, Indonesia from the 23rd to the 24th of this month. Retail inflation based on consumer price index eased to 7.04% in May from 7.79% in April this year. As per the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation data released today, inflation slipped mainly due to easing prices in food and beverages and fuel and light sections.
The India Meteorological Department has predicted that heat wave conditions is likely to continue in isolated places over Punjab, Haryana, Delhi and southeast Uttar Pradesh during the next 2 days. Talking exclusively to AIR News, senior scientist in IMD R.K. Jeremini said there will be no major heat wave from the 16th of this month over Punjab, Haryana and Delhi. Pre-monsoon rain are continuing in many parts of Rajasthan. In the last 24 hours, 9 southern districts of the state received heavy rains. Today, Rajsamand recorded 55 millimeters of rain. Sirohi's Abu Road received 43 millimeters of rain. According to weather station Jaipur, pre-monsoon has knocked in many states, including Rajasthan. Monsoon may enter Rajasthan by 20th of June.
The Khelo India Youth Games 2021 concluded today. In the closing ceremony organized at Indradhanush Auditorium in Panchkula, Chief Guest Haryana Governor Bandaru Dattatreya assured that the Khelo India Youth Games would produce international level players. Addressing the sportspersons on the occasion, Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Thakur congratulated Chief Minister Manohar Lal and Haryana Sports Minister Sandeep Singh for organising the 4th edition of Khelo India Youth Games 2021 and providing all the facilities to the participating sportspersons.
मेरी ओर से सभी को बहुत बहुत बधाई और बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। मित्रों, जैसा प्रधानमंत्री जी कहते हैं, खेलना जरूरी है, हार और जीत इसका हिस्सा है। खेलों से हमें मेहनत करने की, टीम भावना की, स्पोर्ट्समैन स्पिरिट की, इन सब की आदत भी लगती है और अनुशासन, whether it is hard work, discipline, sportsman spirit, this all comes naturally to us, and also the leadership qualities. And I'm sure you have learned a lot from various games you have played or during this competition from the other teams as well.
Haryana has emerged at the top in the medals tally with 52 gold, 39 silver and 46 bronze medals. Haryana grabbed a total of 137 medals. Maharashtra got the second position by winning 125 medals, including 45 gold, 40 silver and 40 bronze medals. Karnataka remained at third place with 22 gold, 17 silver and 28 bronze medals. In cricket, the third 2020 international of the 5-match series between India and South Africa will be played in Visakhapatnam tomorrow.
Now let us have a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Temperature will hover between 33 and 43 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Temperature will hover between 26 and 35 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature will be 28 and maximum will be 38 degrees. Kolkata will have a partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between 29 and 36 degrees Celsius. Srinagar will have a mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards evening or night. Jammu and Muzaffarabad will have a mainly clear sky. Leh and Gilgit will have a partly cloudy sky. Hyderabad, Bengaluru and Thiruvananthapuram will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. In the northeast, Guwahati, Imphal, Shillong, Itanagar, Aizawl, Kohima, Gangtok and Agartala will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers.
And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. President Ramnath Kovind expresses happiness at rising number of women in armed forces, inaugurates Platinum Jubilee celebration of Rashtriya Military School in Bengaluru. Raksha Mantri Shri Rajnath Singh says India will give befitting reply to anyone who casts evil eye on the country, calls to break silos of civil administration and armed forces to deal with hybrid threats. Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnav launches startups for railways in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to pay one-day visit to Maharashtra tomorrow. Ministry of Information and Broadcasting advises media to refrain from advertising online betting platforms. Retail inflation based on Consumer Price Index eases to 7.04% in May from 7.79% in April this year. India Meteorological Department predicts heat wave conditions to continue in Punjab, Haryana, Delhi and southeast Uttar Pradesh for next 2 days. Khelo India Youth Games conclude at Panchkula in Haryana. Haryana regains leading position in medals tally, followed by Maharashtra and Karnataka. And in cricket, third 2020 international between India and South Africa to be played in Visakhapatnam tomorrow. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.
संकट में भागीदार भारत सरकार। कोरोना महामारी में 80 करोड़ लोगों को मिला मुफ्त राशन। 31,90,000 रेहड़ी पटरी वालों को मिला बिना गारंटी लोन।
सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सबका प्रयास।
8 साल सेवा, सुशासन, गरीब कल्याण।